We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Ubile Kaisa. The headlines. President Mutharika assures Malawians of his government's commitment to address challenges facing the country and carry out meaningful development programs. Ministry of Health confirms the introduction of a new anti-malaria drug to help manage the disease in the country. And the Malawi Revenue Authority appeals to traders nationwide to adopt the electronic invoicing system and uphold transparency in their tax obligations. And now the news in detail. His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has assured Malawians of his government's commitment to address challenges facing the country and carry out meaningful development programs. Professor Mutharika was addressing thousands of people that gathered at Kamuzu Palace Main Gate in Lilongwe to welcome him upon his arrival from the southern region. Charles Wahara reports.
Addressing a huge gathering that welcomed him at Kamuzu Palace Main Gate, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika said his administration has put in place strategies to overcome challenges facing the country, such as fuel and forex. He mentioned the need for people to work hard, saying this is the only way Malawi can develop and address some of its challenges.
On a serious note,
Accompanied by the First Lady, Professor Gertrude Mutharika, the President then assured the people of his sound health, defeating rumors claiming that he was flown out of the country for medical treatment. Well, in the southern region, President Professor Mutharika held a number of meetings with different financial players to discuss the economy and areas where financial institutions can invest in and assist Malawi. During his stay in Blantyre, the president also attended a memorial service for his late brother, Professor Bingwa Mutharika, at Mpumulo Wabata in Tyolo, and addressed people at Goliath. Professor Mutharika has called on people of Baila constituency in Lilongwe to vote for ruling DPP candidate in the coming by-election. Charles Wahara, MBC News, Lilongwe.
President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has urged people from the eastern region to vote for Democratic Progressive Party DPP Member of Parliament and Councillor in the forthcoming by-election. President Mutharika made the remarks when he made a stopover at Palula in Balaka on his way to Lilongwe from Blantyre. Beatrice Joma has filed a report.
Speaking at Palula, President Mutharika called on all those who registered in Balaka and Machinga districts to vote for DPP candidates in the 30th June 2026 by-election. The constituencies are Mulunguzi Balaka, Machinga Mikoko and Kanjuli. Professor Mutharika also commended the DPP Vice President for the Eastern Region, Bright Msaka, for the support rendered to DPP candidates who are contesting in the forthcoming by-election.
When you write about some vote on me, but last election, the police over me, my boss on vote over my group over me. Give me one. Come on, supposed to talk about the government by election. Afunga Willie, come on, so cancer Mosley. If not one who takes his hands off, it's a union. You say, "Kai DPP." Don't you have one bit? I want to get us, eh? Yes. So I'm not a pair. That's how we defend the pair. Come on, festival pair. If you come to me, don't say you go up and get up. 100% Howie. If I don't imagine 6 to Sovano, even I can 5, you could have a call the people, you know. 5 and imagine 6, that's a Kubia, the same cell will call that. When the person Howie, what's I get up that people that's in Mando, because you want to call up, we know. Come on, so I'm being the fun of a put Zipping on the Nintendo, so on, right? Civil Mayana, Civil Cabana, and Gossip Antende, and also now going to be political now for Sobano.
Julie Ward fell vacant following the death of Councillor Simplex Diwa, while Machinga Mikoko constituents fell vacant following the death of the Member of Parliament, Jafari Musa. While Mulunguzi constituency, fresh parliamentary election follows the nullification of the previous results by the Supreme Court of Appeal. James Makumula, who is contesting for the parliamentary seat on DPP ticket, was also unveiled during the event. Furthermore, President Mutharika said he is glad that peace is now reigning in the country compared to the previous years when people were living in fear of men with panga knives. Professor Mutharika also said it is pleasing to note that people now have food. The Malawi leader then pledged his continued commitment to recover the country's economy for the betterment of all Malawians.
Minister of Health and Sanitation, Madalisa Waloi, has disclosed that government plans to employ more midwives as one way of improving the delivery of maternal health services in the country. Waloi made the remarks in Mzimba during the commemorations of this year's International Day of the Midwife. Chisomo Manda reports.
This year's International Day of the Midwife was held in Mzimba. The day began with a march from Mzimba District Hospital to Mzimba Airfield. In her speech, the minister commended midwives in the country for the excellent work they are doing despite the various challenges they face in their line of duty. She also acknowledged the need to employ more midwives to further improve maternal health services.
It's one of the biggest challenges that the midwives are facing, low numbers of midwives versus the ratio of mothers that are supposed to help in the hospitals. And as a government, we know that we're going to do something and the numbers are going to increase by 2030. When the president was giving the SONA, you heard that health sector is one of the critical sectors and that we are going to conduct recruitments that will include midwives. And we know with that, the numbers will increase. It means we are also increasing the women that are giving safe birth, women accessing to skilled birth, which is very important for us.
President of the Association of Malawian Midwives, Mumu Delanji Lipato, said he is hopeful that government will indeed increase the number of midwives in the country to add to the over 5,000 currently working in different health facilities in the country.
So the numbers are important, but then the midwives also need to be well remunerated. We are going through very hard economic hardships, so the midwives need to be well remunerated so that they're able to take care of themselves. The working environment needs to have all the necessary resources. So the reaction from the midwives is justified.
In his remarks, Inkosi Amakosi Mbelwa V of Mzimba District said the chiefs have a crucial role to play in advocating for safe motherhood. The theme for this year's commemorations is 1 million more midwives. Chisomamanda, MBC News, Mzimba.
The Ministry of Health has confirmed the introduction of a new anti-malaria drug to help manage the disease in the country. Program Manager for the National Malaria Control Program, Dr. Lumbani Muntali, has confirmed this in an interview with MBC in Nilongwe. He says the new drugs aim to help address issues of drug resistance, which are being registered in some countries on the continent, and will help in the fight against malaria. Beatrice Mwape reports.
According to Dr. Muntali, Malawi recorded 5.4 million malaria cases in 2025, down from 9.4 million cases in 2024, representing a 43% reduction. In terms of deaths, the country recorded over 2,000 deaths in 2024, while 1,629 deaths were registered in 2025, representing a 28% decline. Muntali further says cases continue to decline, and from January to March this year, the country has registered 600,000 cases compared to 2 million cases during the same period in 2025. He has attributed these positive trends to the mass distribution of mosquito nets conducted in 2024, among other interventions. Dr. Muntali has also confirmed the introduction of the new malaria drugs called dihydroartemisinin, piperacin, DP, currently being administered in Lilongwe and Nkatabe, which he says will complement the already existing lumefantrine artemether, LAR.
We expect to roll out to more districts. Why are we doing that? Because the studies that are doing, they have found that just using one drug, it can easily develop resistance. Yeah, so there have been resistance to malaria drugs. It started with countries like Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, the Horn of Africa, but it's come down even to Southern Africa here, like Zambia, South Africa. They are also identifying resistance. So because of that, the World Health Organization has recommended that we should not just be using one drug, but we should be using several drugs. So for Malawi, we are using 2 drugs, LAR and DP.
Dr. Muntali says Malawi is on the right trajectory towards eliminating malaria by 2030. He has since emphasized the need for multi-sectoral involvement to ensure the country reduces the malaria burden by 2030.
At the rate we are going, if you look at how we have reduced the cases last year and even this year, there are further reductions. We have got about 3-4 years. If we can sustain these interventions, if we can collaborate, it's achievable. Malaria is not about Ministry of Health and Sanitation only. We need the other ministries. It needs multi-sectoral involvement. So we can achieve.
According to Dr. Muntali, about 1 million children under the age of 5 have received the malaria vaccine. Muntali says the new malaria drugs are expected to be rolled out to other districts soon. Beatrice Mwabe, MBC News, Lilongwe.
World Vision Malawi has pledged continued partnership with government in implementing interventions aimed at increasing HIV and AIDS awareness and reducing further spread of the disease. World Vision HIV specialist Butele Zimvula said this in Mangochi ahead of the launch of a year-long project which seeks to promote interventions towards reducing further spread of HIV/AIDS in rural areas. Sotin Ndazi has compiled this report, being read by Owen Mavula.
World Vision Malawi is set to launch an HIV spread prevention project in Mangochi, focusing on reducing new HIV infections among adolescent girls and young women. The project aims to increase HIV and AIDS awareness and combat gender-based violence through support from Global Fund. Speaking to MBC, World Vision Malawi specialist Butele Zimvula said the year-long project is targeting public health facilities around Monkey Bay as outlet source for the interventions.
Here in Mangochi district, we are supporting the district in using some of the sustainable funding mechanisms which might be there, that government can be there to support these initiatives, like responding to HIV by promoting some of the HIV prevention interventions which are there. So like here, would like specifically to focus on the using the health facilities which are public health facilities and not facilities which are being supported by the partners.
In his remarks, Principal Disease Control Officer in the Department of HIV in the Ministry of Health, Matthews Chinyama, commended World Vision Malawi for supporting government in addressing resource gaps in HIV prevention interventions.
We understand that the US government pulled some of the resources so they created a gap in some of the facilities. So through World Vision and the Ministry of Health, we are coming in to close those particular gaps. But this will be government-led initiative to make sure that the interventions are sustainable.
The project is part of a broader effort to improve access to HIV services in the Lakeshore district and to ensure that all girls have the opportunity to fulfill their potential.
This is MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika assures Malawians of his government's commitment to address challenges facing the country and carry out meaningful development programs. Ministry of Health confirms the introduction of a new anti-malaria drug to help manage the disease in the country. And the Malawi Revenue Authority appeals to traders nationwide to adopt the electronic invoicing system and uphold transparency in their tax obligations. Welcome back. Malawi Revenue Authority has called on traders across the country to resume business operations and adopt the electronic invoicing system, EIS, and fulfill their tax obligations. MRA Commissioner General Felix Tambulasi made the call during a press conference in Blantyre, urging business operators who have been closing shops in protest of the EIS to resume operations and comply with the system. Tambulasi said the EIS is aimed at improving accountability and efficiency in value-added tax administration and is not a new tax. Erlin Chimoy reports.
On the 1st of May, the Malawi Revenue Authority started the implementation of the electronic invoicing system, which is replacing the electronic fiscal devices system, which was there to help in the collection of the value-added tax, VAT. However, since the rolling out of the EIS, there seems to be continued resistance from some business operators on the market. In the press briefing by the Commissioner General of the Revenue Authority, that is Felix Tambulasi, he has made it a point that as MRA, they're not backing down because the system is also an indication of government's move in the right direction in as far as technological advancement is concerned, and it will also help them in as far as tracking the remittance as well as the payment and collection of VAT.
I would like to thank those taxpayers, VAT operators that have already onboarded on the EIS. Those that are remaining to do that, they are few, and I would like to encourage them to onboard on the EIS because there is a law in place and therefore we have as MRA to enforce the law that is there. I would also like to encourage the traders outside there to open their businesses because, as I said, at the end of the day, we have proceeded, we have rolled out the system, and there's no turning back.
Now, according to Tambulasi, it seems it's only a fraction of the registered VAT operators that are yet to roll out on this new system. Out of the 9,000 registered VAT operators, it is 7,500 that have already onboarded to this new system, meaning that it's only the remaining few that are resisting the system. Hence, their decision to continue with the system to ensure that government is maximizing its revenue collection. For MBC in Blantyre and Sonko House, I'm Eileen Chimoyo.
The Reserve Bank of Malawi has disclosed that the country's pension portfolio has grown by 140% from 3.5 trillion kwacha to 8.4 trillion kwacha as of December 2025. Principal examiner responsible for pensions, Shamiso Malekano, said this during an interface meeting NICO organized for clients. Malekano observed that the funds have continued to grow even though there are concerns of lack of diversified investment of the funds. Details in this report by Trust Ofesi.
Despite the positive outturn, Reserve Bank Principal Examiner responsible for pensions, Shamiso Malekano, pointed out that the sector continues to face challenges with employers either underreporting or delaying altogether in remitting pension contributions to pension managers. Malekano has also added that measures are in place to ensure that investment of the funds is diversified, as nearly 80% is invested on the Malawi Stock Exchange.
That one is simply meant to make sure that pension assets are diversified and to manage concentration risk so that we don't expose pension members to the investment risk.
NICO Pension Chief Executive Officer Gerard Chima also highlighted that the funds under NICO's portfolio have registered marked growth in 2025.
We have posted a return of 90% on the Ufulu Fund. A lot of the pension funds that we manage fall under the Ufulu Fund, so the return that we have posted there is 90%. We also have a number of employers under the Timasuke Pension Fund, and for the Timasuke Pension Fund we have posted 146%.
Apart from the mandatory pension payments, NICO is also offering optional pension premiums for individuals and private companies. Trust Office, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Stakeholders in the agriculture sector have expressed hope that the science technology backyard model being championed by China will complement Malawi government's efforts in fighting hunger in the country. Program Manager for Mzuzu Agricultural Development Division, Francis Chilenga, made the remarks during a field visit to Mzuzu Residential Training Center, where some students from China University of Agriculture are doing their practical work. Musa Secheo reports.
Through the science technology backyard, students from Malawi go to China to learn some technologies that Chinese farmers apply to boost farm production at low cost. The students practice the technologies with farmers in Malawi as part of their studies. Program Manager for Mzuzu ADD, Francis Chilenga, said the model is crucial in the country.
They are looking at the challenges, addressing the challenges that our farmers are facing in terms of agricultural productivity. So they do soil testing, and by doing so, they want to use optimal amount of fertilizers so that they have the right amount of fertilizer and apply it at the right time. Of course, following all the good agricultural practices to increase production levels.
One of the students, Samson Moforo, who works with Palombe District Council, has hailed farmers in Malawi for their willingness in applying technologies learned in China.
Whatever they were getting before joining the STB, now maybe they have been doubled. And we have a lot of good stories that are coming from the farmers. And a lot of farmers are now trying to join the program. For your information, last year we worked with around 90 farmers, 30 farmers in each residential training center. But right now, only in Kasungu, there are around 120 farmers that we're working with. In Mulanje, Tujira, there are about 90 farmers that we're working with. Whilst here, it's about 60 farmers that we're working with.
During the field day organized by Mzuzu ADD, stakeholders appreciated developments in different crops, including coming up with new varieties, their treatment, and how they are processed to final products. Musa Secheo, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Faith Chinzimo and Rose Kazere will be available for the Malawi Under-20 Women's National Team's FIFA World Cup qualifying match against Nigeria this Saturday at Bingu National Stadium. The duo missed last weekend's 2-0 first leg defeat in Nigeria. Football Association of Malawi President Fleetwood Haiya confirmed their return in an interview with MBC. He explains.
There are some players who did not join us. As you have mentioned, there is Faith Chinzimo, who did not join because her team was participating in the final of the Champions League, Europa League. And also, when you talk of the Gazelle, she was also, her team was also playing very crucial matches, whereby the teams did ask us to consider. All these players, inshallah, they'll be with us on the second round, because they've indicated that now Faith has won for the first time the Europa League in Europe. Lowe's is also coming. So we pray that they are going to be with us, and with them in our squad and other players that did not make it, we do believe that we can turn the tables around. We were indeed beaten, we lost, but we're not crushed. We will still come up. And I want to call upon all Malawians to come and join us as we motivate our players at the BNS. The game is going to be free. There's no reason why one should fail to come.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our headlines before we leave. President Mutharika assures Malawians of his government's commitment to address challenges facing the country and carry out meaningful development programs. Ministry of Health confirms the introduction of a new anti-malaria drug to to help manage the disease in the country. And the Malawi Revenue Authority appeals to traders nationwide to adopt the electronic invoicing system and uphold transparency in their tax obligations.
For live news updates, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Upile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.